home building and remodeling show. Let's go. Welcome everybody to the home building and remodeling show. My name is Chris Kirby and I'll be your host. I am the owner of 3 construction companies on the Alabama Gulf Coast. The show is about residential construction. We're going to cover topics of home building and remodeling. Are you thinking of doing a remodel or building a home? Are you a contractor looking to improve your knowledge base or grow your business? Have you ever done a remodel project or built a home? There were so many things you wish you knew or that you could have done differently during the process. Then this show is for you. We break down the process of building and remodeling and how to have the best results during your project. Whether you're a DIYer looking for tips, someone looking to hire a contractor to do a project, or a contractor looking to expand your knowledge base or your business. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Stay tuned. We kick off the show with my thoughts on home building and remodeling. I'll share best practices and talk about some of our experiences in business and out in the field. These shared thoughts and lessons learned are meant to help you on your very own journey. Let's go. I want to talk about why projects fail. We'll jump right in. The number one reason why your project failed, or why one of our projects have probably failed in the past, is communication, right? You hear it everywhere you go, any industry that you may be a part of. Communication is essential, and sometimes the client wants to be continuously informed. So anything that you can do as a contractor, as a home builder, as a remodeler to improve the flow of communication, you need to do it. That is probably the number one reason why projects fail. With that, I want to talk about one of the programs that we use that we found helps us not only in communication with the client, but also in communication with our very own team, our crew leaders, and everybody who may be involved in our process of building a home or doing a remodeling project. And that product is Buildbook. So you may use a different type of what's called a resource management tool, software, Buildertrend, Co-Construct. Those are all along the same lines. But the reason we chose to use Buildbook was because of how user-friendly it was. In our industry, when things tend to get super complicated, we're out in the field working, we're all over in different locations. We need to continuously be communicating, and we can't always be on the job site at every moment. And so it's important to have a tool that we can communicate across, and from me to my team, and from my team to the apprentices, and then also sharing information with the client, and sometimes all at the same time. And that's why we recommend finding the right software for you, the right program for you. Again, there are multiple programs out there. We use what's called Buildbook, and I will go into that in depth. I will do a show just on Buildbook and its features and its ease of use and stuff like that. But however, the point is, make sure that you're using some sort of program or software or communication tool, because the number one reason that projects fail is due to a lack of communication. Not necessarily that the work was bad, but because the communication wasn't intact the entire time, the project may fail and you may have a negative result or outcome. So work on communication by finding a program that works for you, that you can afford, and that works to communicate with your client at all times. So each week I want to highlight something that we've learned or something that we use in our business that can help you as a consumer or contractor in your business. And so this week I wanted to talk about what's called the code check. And if you're listening to the podcast, unfortunately, you can't see what I'm holding up. However, the code check, which is the 9th edition, which is the most current edition, and I'll hold that up so you can see it. Okay, so what this is, and again, if you're listening to the podcast, sorry, you can't see this. This is basically a quick reference, a smaller handheld version of the International Residential Code, which for any contractor out there, you should know what I'm talking about. As a client or consumer, you may hear somebody say something needs to be up to code. Well, there is an actual book, and it lists all of the different codes that a contractor must follow to ensure that you get the safest result for your home or property or whatever they're working on. And so the big book, which I will now hold up, of the IRC, the International Residential Code, as you can see, it's expensive and it's humongous, and there are, I'll tell you, over 1,000 pages in this thing. So that is, you need to have this at your office, at your home, somewhere. If you're a contractor, you need to have a copy of the code book, so you can reference it. However, what I've done is I've ordered a ton of these, and I believe they were $14.99 or maybe $19.99. I found it on Amazon, and it's called the Code Check again. And basically what it is it's a hard card, right? It has, I don't know, maybe 20 little hard cards on it, and it is sectioned out, and you can quickly flip to any section that you want, and it has a quick reference to common code questions and how the intended use is to be able to take it anywhere, save time and money, and quickly check for, you might hear the term, is that up to code? Are these stairs up to code? Well, what does that mean? And you can flip open, and as you see here, it has the different sections highlighted with different colors, and you can go and find, let's see, stairs. Okay, got it. I found stairs and decks, and it has a picture of stairs, and it also has different requirements. It tells you how high the riser has to be, what your tread depth has to be. It tells you about handrails. And again, it's not all consuming, and it doesn't cover everything. However, it covers most of the basic code violations and things that when inspectors come that they commonly find. And so you can quickly look in here, find stairs, find minimum heights, find minimum tread depths. And you can do that for multiple sections throughout the book. They have plumbing, they have a little bit of electrical, some mechanical, carpentry, general things that you would need. And all of my crew leaders and all of my project managers have a copy of this. And again, this is stuff that ties directly back to the International Residential Code. It's just a good idea for them to have them in their vehicles. If they have a quick question, they can quickly reference it and find it. It makes it easier to find stuff just because of the way that it's put together. It's an illustrated guide. Like I said, it actually shows the stairs. It shows the 4 inches between the spindles. Those types of things that make it very user friendly for any construction person, for any contractor, remodeler, builder to quickly reference what the code is on. Again, it's limited. It doesn't include everything, but it includes the most common things, and that's what's important. So I just wanted to share that with you today. Again, the 9th edition. Now, this is what I will say. The current code book is the 2021 International Residential Code, which governs single-family houses, single-family and two-family dwellings. As a home builder, that's what it's residential construction. But anyway, that's 2021. The most recent, the 9th edition of the Code Check, which is the most recent one available, is for the 2018 residential code. However, it does highlight the changes and different stuff that you need. And the code book comes out every 3 years. So in 2024, there will be a new code book, and I'm not sure how often they update the mini code check booklet. But this is the 9th edition, and I'm sure the 10th edition will come out soon and reference the 2021 code. And if you look, a lot of municipalities, so I know locally, some may still be in the 2015. Most have moved to the 2018, and slowly some have started to integrate the 2021 code. And what that means is that the code enforcement official, the building official, whatever you call it, building inspector, whatever you call it, wherever you're from, they are going to have the residential code, and then also where they're going to have local differences, not differences because they can't deviate from, but they can add to requirements of the code book. Having this code check, having the big book, and knowing what local codes your local building department has is crucial. But this is a big win. To make sure you grab one and carry it with you wherever you are. It's a great quick reference to find the most common code violations and see exactly what it says about those code violations. Again, we'll continue to talk about best practices, and as we go through lessons learned and find products that help us, I want to share that information with you, and this is one of those times.
And now we move into Shop Talk. It's the portion of the show where I bring in a co-host and we cover trending topics in home building and remodeling. Hope you enjoy. Let's go. People don't realize that other people see it.
Right.
Like you may not even have known what you were doing sometimes.
Because you feel like when you're living that life, you think you got everybody fooled.
Yeah.
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 It's all good.
Yep. Yeah.
And if they do call you out, you're like,
no, yeah, you're defensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because again, you don't even realize how it comes off. And we've dealt with that. And again, across the board in all industries, it starts to happen. And hopefully people pick up on it and will confront you. It does take that.
I respect that man to this day. He's one of my favorite people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with that he was honest with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was a good thing.
So it started with the car dealership, like trying to stay motivated there. And kind of by that point, you were just
it was just a problem then.
Yeah, it was just a problem. And so you were still dabbling in construction. You were actually starting to learn, though.
Right.
Thank goodness for that. You know what I'm saying? And from there, from the trim carpentry type stuff, what did you?
So it all caught up with me. I kind of got in a little bit of trouble and everything. And then there was a big gap.
Yeah.
A couple year gap there. And then
where you were just in this other world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it again, it's a tough position to be in. And so you were just, really, you didn't really have a career of anything because you were caught up. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. And then so my life's all caught up with me.
Yeah.
I go to rehab, and my same buddy found out I was in rehab and reached out to me and was like, "Hey, if you're doing good, he had
same guy,
the son-in-law of and he's like, hey, I just started my own company. I could use a hand, if you're willing." And well, he started picking me up from rehab every morning, and
bringing you to work.
And I've been trying to poach him on his own stuff,
constantly
every week, but because he's amazing at what he does, but he really fine-tuned my skill level. I learned a tremendous amount.
But that also means that they saw something in you before that U-turn happened. They saw something, and you had some sort of skill, because I'm going to tell you now, and you know this, we talk about going with your gut with people, and you can tell pretty quickly if they got it or if they don't in construction. Right. So that means that you had it. Right. You could do it, so because he wouldn't have came at you, especially with what you had going on, and said, "Hey, let's give this another whirl." If he didn't need you, and B, if he didn't think you were worth bringing to the job site,
right.
So that's awesome, and that's what construction and remodeling and home building can provide too. Right. So then he was picking you up basically from rehab, taking you into work. And then from there, I'm assuming you just kind of kept going and
I worked with him for about a year and a half or so. And then, another guy gave me a crew leader position. So talked it over with him. He couldn't, quite afford what the other guy was offering.
So yeah, and you kind of outgrew that position.
Right.
And what tends to happen there is they get to a place of they're good at what they do and they're complacent. They want to just show up and do what they do every day. And they're not always necessarily in the mindset of growing a company. And so they're individual contractors and they're at their comfort level.
Right.
And they typically only need one or two people, and
Exactly.
that's where they're going to stop. And that's perfectly fine. But for you, you're like, okay, what's next for me?
I kind of had hit my ceiling with him, but he was super happy for me and everything, and encouraged me to take that jump, and because he knew he couldn't do too much more for me, so he was like, man, take it.
That's awesome. So you outgrew that position and you're ready to kind of level up and move up, and he celebrated that.
Right.
That's awesome. That's what it should be about. So you got offered a crew leader position, and you took that.
Right.
Okay. And
stayed there for a year and a few months. Really tuned in my skill level there because I learned a lot. You know what I mean? Just my problem solving skills got much better there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Because, I was the one that had to figure it out at it.
Right. There wasn't. Yes, that's right. You kind of had to figure it out. And then you were also leading other people. So really your skill level, as far as your technical skill level, was already above theirs. So when you hit a roadblock, you would have to call somebody else to really get help or figure it out. And that's where you were. You were going to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we got back connected and talked, and that's what landed me here because, the more opportunity here.
It was benefits and things that you couldn't get there. So you moved, from working with an individual to working with a company. And then you moved from a company that didn't provide everything that you could get or that you needed as you were maturing in your life. And that's natural progression in life where you've got a daughter, you need benefits, you're getting older. And so you basically went from a single individual operating, contractor to a smaller company. And for us, I would say now we're getting to where we're that mid-sized level, but we were able to offer you basically, you came in as a crew leader, and but the difference was it wasn't just the pay, because I think you probably working more hours and making a little more there, but it was the other stuff. It was the opportunities and the benefit. And we were a company that was growing, and me and you grew up together, so we kind of had that friendship. And it was you taking that leap because you didn't know how this was going to pan out. You didn't know when you jumped from Ethan.
Change is different. It's difficult for me. You know what I mean? But
and the older you get, I think the more difficult it becomes because you do start to work at places and you get comfortable and you understand your daily routine, your hours, how people think, all that stuff. So anytime you come into a new position, especially at a new company, you're basically starting over. Not as far as your skill didn't go anywhere, but your daily routine, your comfort level, being in charge, knowing how the day was going to look, who you were working with, all of that was brand new coming here.
Right.
But because you had that skill that you learned way back when, that is what really carried you, right?
Right.
I mean, you're a good person, but that skill that you learned, now that you've learned it, you've always got it.
Right.
So even here, if you're, put into a leadership position and you can't manage people, you can still go out in the field and be a trim carpenter, be a remodeler because you learned that skill. Right. And so that's what, I think construction provides a lot of the trades. They have skills, they learn skills, they do apprenticeships. And once you learn those, that's something that, you said you had a large gap, but did it when you came out of that cycle of life and went back into construction, were you able to kind of pick back up? I mean, I'm sure there was some rust, but
so yes, like I was saying before, we started this as a field where if you have like a hiccup or a roadblock in your life, you know what I mean, this field gives opportunity because, you know what I mean, a lot of times you're just needing somebody's back. You know what I mean? You just need a helping hand.
You need a laborer, you need help, you need
if you
something.
got a little bit of, you know, knowledge on it, it helps tremendously. But, you know what I mean, in this field, there's some rough people, you know what I mean, and people change.
Absolutely. There's all types in construction.
Right.
You do have people who have went to college and done all that professional stuff, and they're not happy in life, and they go into construction or remodeling because they want to work with their hands and create, and that's really what we do now at this point. Exactly. You know, we're kind of they're tough days with the demo and stuff like that, but since we have narrowed our niche down to interior remodeling, I would say demo lasts a day, maybe 2 days. Bigger jobs, it might be a little longer. Those are your tough days. Other than that, our tile installers, with some of the ways they're having to do the tile and style of tile that's coming out, they really are artists at what they do. Right. They're creating. Like, you can visually see the results of what your hands have done.
Exactly.
It's like you with the walls, right? You like to do those wood walls, different design on the wood walls, all of that type of stuff. And so it really is obviously people don't think of remodelers or construction people as artists, but it really is.
Are.
Yeah. Especially these days.
Yeah.
It's kind of, people want, different stuff, design, different stuff like that.
Yeah. Especially when you get like these ladies involved in here, these interior designers, you know what I mean? And they create a masterpiece pretty much.
Yeah. Don't tell them it ain't art. Thanks for joining us today. As always, we are grateful for our listeners and your continued support. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media via Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Get more info at our website, www.thehomebuildingshow.com. And as always, remember who we are, the Home Building and Remodeling Show.